Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, the Executive Secretary of REXA, my colleague, Principal Secretary or Permanent Secretary in charge of Security, Republic of Uganda, Lieutenant General Joseph, the IG of Police, Douglas Kanja, Republic of Kenya, the Deputy Minister in charge of Security from Sudan, Mangar Buong, the Commissioner of Police in charge of Operations, Republic of Rwanda, Rumanzi George, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Charles from Uganda, Ambassador Ruzan, Ambassador of Eritrea to Kenya, and the Deputy IG of Djibouti, Colonel Omar. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. Your Excellency, I'll make brief remarks before I invite you to speak to us in your capacity as the chair of the Council of Ministers of REXA. One is to say that the Regional Center on Small Arms, which is REXA, is an international organization established to address proliferation of illicit trafficking of small arms and light weapons within the Great Lakes region, the Horn of Africa, and also the bordering states. REXA comprises of 15 member states, namely Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, Djibouti, Eritrea, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. And the whole week, we've had representation from all these member states, beginning with the National Focal Point Persons Forum and ending with the Technical Advisory Committee, which I chair. Now, the key objectives of REXA under the Nairobi Protocol, which was set up close to 20 years ago, was to help in the prevention, control, and reduction of small arms and light weapons in the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa. REXA enhances regional peace and security by facilitating coordination and implementation of measures to combat the spread of small arms through a number of interventions. One, of course, is the implementation of the Nairobi Protocol, which assists member states to adhere to the obligations within that protocol. Number two is to promote uniform legislation or policies, again, to help in the prevention and to combat proliferation of small arms. Number three is capacity building, so that then the various government institutions of member states are capacitated to manage small arms effectively. And number four is to raise awareness on the risks associated with small arms and light weapons while advocating for the disarmament efforts. So far, as prescribed by REXA as a country, Kenya is nearing completion of its ambitious marking of firearms and ammunition. Within the National Police Service, we are at 98%. Within our Kenya Defense Forces, we are at 70%. And we have similarly collected in excess of 2,000 illicit firearms in the last 3 years. Over 300,000 illicit firearms across the member states have equally been destroyed since the establishment of REXA. In 2023, Kenya assumed the chairmanship of the Council of Ministers responsible for internal security. Now, in today's deliberations and the conversations that we've been having throughout the week, we have convened the 15th Technical Advisory Committee, and There have been preliminary sessions involving the national focal point coordinators from the member states. And these sessions have culminated in today's meeting, which is being attended by the permanent or principal secretaries, the inspector generals of police, as well as the national focal point persons, so as to review and consider the reports that will be tabled today. Through this forum, we have been able to validate the regional action plan on weapons and ammunition management, which aims to integrate the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration efforts. We've also been able to establish the regional harmonized reporting tool that transitions from the manual to electronic record keeping in the management of weapons to enhance transparency, standardization, and accountability in small arms and light weapons control. We'll also be able to adopt the Executive Secretary's report for the period June 2023 to November 2024. We've also been able to review the proposed amendments to the establishment of REXA agreement for the member states, so that then we'll be able to give this feedback in March of 2025 next year. We expect to also finally have the financial and annual reports and the work plans stroke budget for the 2024-25 to 2025-26 approved. And finally, we'll be able to discuss options for addressing the financial gaps and also to look at ways of diversifying the funding mechanisms so that we are able to sustain the operations of REXA. Your Excellency, with those many remarks, may I request colleagues in the room to be upstanding as I welcome you to make your remarks. Let's give His Excellency the PCS a round of applause.